Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for has finally arrived. I'm sure the anticipation was just killing you. Today we'll be viewing the final movie in the Gingerdead Man trilogy, Gingerdead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on some of the fond memories we've made throughout these films. From Gary Busey being in the first one, to the time he got crucified in the second one, to that time when he turned into a dog in the... No. Wait, that was Love on a Leash. Regardless, getting through these movies has been a real trip, and I hope you're ready to take the final leg of that trip with me today, as we see whether or not Gingerdead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver is a worthy ending to this trilogy. Spoiler alert, it's about as weird an ending as you can get.
Weirdflix.
Fun fact, this was actually the first Gingerdead Man movie I've ever seen. I watched it one night by myself because I had bought it on some DVD multi-pack, and with a name like Saturday Night Cleaver, it had to be something special. And boy howdy was it. I think this one might be my favorite of the three, although that might just be because I saw this one first. The Passion of the Crust, it's gonna be hard to top that. Let's take a look and see if Saturday Night Cleaver can cut through the competition. Our film starts, appropriately, with a full moon. We pan down to, I don't know, some kind of a prison? We meet a woman who's apparently here to visit one of the prisoners, but she's got to go through a metal detector first.
I'm going to give our audience 3 guesses as to where those came from. And no, we're not going to show you.
She then walks down a hallway of other pastry-based villains, and they're all stereotypes? Oh my god, it's Gingerdead Man Infinity War.
You want to get baked, man?
She's so sticky with the little cream puff.
I want to watch a movie about all these guys working together. They're so weird. We see that the Gingerdead Man is apparently the prized prisoner here, which is weird because if I remember correctly, he was crucified at the end of the last film.
Well, continuity was never these films' strong suits.
But whatever. Also, have you noticed anything familiar about the opening? Maybe about the way the Gingerdead Man looks?
I'll give you a moment to figure out what's familiar about this. And done. Figured it out yet? It's because this part of the movie has been straight up copied from Silence of the Lamb, beat for beat. I don't know why they would do this. The worst part is it's not even the most blatant bit of plagiarism in the film. It somehow gets worse than this.
This woman's name is Clarice, I think, and she's here to figure out what makes the Gingerdead Man tick. As we all know, he's a very deep individual, so I can understand why she wants this. In exchange, she'll move him to Candyland Island, a maximum security prison for homicidal baked goods.
Candyland Island, just off the coast of Lollipop Bay. Every day, for 3 hours, you will be permitted to go outside into the fresh air. You will walk on the brown sugar beach. You will swim in the lemonade ocean.
Sounds pretty great, to be honest. And it also kind of sounds like Candy Island from The Misadventures of Flapjack. The fact that this island exists actually raises a huge amount of questions for this world, but we're not concerned about that right now.
What we are concerned about is the fact that this lady is not with the FBI as she claimed, but is the sister of that homeless guy who ate the Gingerdead Man at the end of the last film. That's the only connection we get between these two films. Honestly, all of these movies should just be independent of one another. Why even bother trying to connect them when you're just gonna do it so loosely? Before she shoots him, the prison is invaded by, and I quote, misguided animal activists.
Are we off the rails yet?
A few hippies break in and free the Gingerdead Man, who's dropped the fake accent and is back to his foul-mouthed self. He bites the nose off a hippie, who thought he was some kind of a shaved monkey, and he runs off. He finds a facility that's working on food-based time travel, and he shoots the scientist working on it. The guard from the facility tracks him down, and he hops through a portal into a psychedelic time travel sequence. We get to hear that awesome theme song again from the last movie.
Run as fast as you can.
And that's enough.
Don't want this video to be copyright striked any more than it's already gonna be.
After the title sequence, we cut back to a disco roller rink. We see typical sights that you'd expect. People skating, hanging out. This dude sniffs a skate. We're off to a fantastic start. It turns out the Gingerdead Man has somehow ended up in 1976. He wants to get home, but his remote is busted. I don't know why. Plot convenience mostly. He looks different as well. I think it's the fact that the mouth moves now.
Honestly, I kind of prefer his look in this film. It feels more natural to me. As natural as a homicidal cookie puppet can get.
We get to meet two kids whose names are irrelevant and who are gawking over our villains. The human ones, not the gingerbread ones. They are two professional roller dancers. I don't remember their names, so I'm gonna call them Evil Barbie and Ken. The kids are pretty funny, and I wish they were in this movie more. We get to see the Gingerdead Man running around, and this is the first time we've seen him in CGI. It does not look good. As we settle into the fact that this movie is taking place in 1976 for some reason, we get to meet the owner of this fine establishment, Trixie. She's making an important announcement, which I'll summarize for you. Basically, there's a pageant for a roller beauty queen or something that's happening tonight, and it's very important since it's the last one ever. This is because the skating rink is closing due to the fact that Trixie has apparently committed tax fraud and owes a lot of money she doesn't have. This leads to some creative ideas from the audience.
Maybe we can hold a roller disco bikini car wash in the parking lot tonight. Have a roller boogie bake sale.
Surrounded by idiots.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say.
Chris, are you calling me a moron?
Huh? Oh, no, Alex, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the people in this film are morons. You're more of a simpleton.
Friendly reminder that this simpleton edits your videos for you, for free.
True, but you crave the positive attention you're getting from these videos, so it's really more of a symbiotic relationship we have going on here.
Crave is a very strong word. I'd say I moderately enjoy the nice comments. However, I don't need them in my day-to-day life because I'm a strong, independent woman who knows her own self-worth and doesn't need male validation.
Speaking of strong women, Trixie wants to introduce her niece, Cherry. Can anyone guess who she's supposed to be? No? Maybe this exploding light will jog your memory?
That's right, this movie is literally, beat for beat, Carrie. Why? It's not like the other films were copying Stephen King properties. How does somebody even come up with this? Were you this out of ideas? Who thinks it's a good idea to mix Carrie and roller disco? I mean, was it drugs? It was probably drugs.
The girl who suggested the car wash meets with her friends and...
What? Oh, sorry. I thought I went deaf for a second there.
We meet some victims, side characters, namely this guy in a tuxedo shirt. His name is Tux. I thought that was funny. That is all. Trixie introduced Cherry to the guy who was sniffing shoes earlier, and I don't remember his name. I'm gonna call him Shoes. Trixie wants Shoes to show her around, but not hit on her.
Hi, I'm Randy.
She's Cherry, and I'd like her to stay that way.
Trixie especially doesn't want her skating because Cherry is clumsy and is going to be a dental hygienist. Seriously.
She's got a one-way ticket to becoming a dental hygienist, don't you?
I don't know.
Molars, not rollers.
If I could
Drills, not thrills.
But I just want...
Cavities, not depravities.
Alright, I liked that.
Trixie leaves and they basically immediately disobey her and get Cherry out on the rink. There's some nice skating, and if my calculations are correct, about 40% of the movie is just scenes like this.
There's a lot of scenes of people just kind of hanging out like that. I like to call it filler.
Checking back in on the actual main character of this film, the Gingerdead Man is watching that stupid car wash from earlier. This scene is pointless and I will not be showing it. 3 guesses as to what the Gingerdead Man does during it though. The kids from earlier make another appearance and are quickly time traveled out of this movie.
Dang, those kids were kind of funny. I'm gonna miss them.
Immediately after this, the Gingerdead Man decides to kill the car wash girls who have only made $2. Trixie apparently owes $85,000, so they're well on their way. The Gingerdead Man decides to take their hose and plug it into a vat of hydrochloric acid. Why is that nearby? I don't know. It leads to these girls getting straight up melted, which is actually not a terrible looking effect. Back in the rip-off Carrie plot, Cherry meets 2 stereotypical friends, as well as meets evil Barbie from earlier. Her friends decide to give her a
roller boogie makeover?
Ugh. Fashion.
Back with something I can tolerate, the Gingerdead Man looks over the remains of his work and runs off to a bathroom to hide. In walks...
Well, I don't want to be mean, but this is not a particularly beautiful woman.
The Gingerdead Man, for some reason, decides to reenact a scene from Porky's. I think we might even be able to show a little of this.
Let go of me!
Ouch. I'd also like to point out that this is the 3rd film that this movie has copied from so far.
While this is happening, Cherry's makeover seems to be going over really well, as is movie tradition. Also, the Gingerdead Man pops up in the toilet.
What's that broad living on, sawdust?
I have no idea how he got there. Out on the rink, Cherry and Shoes are having a great time until Trixie spots them and pages Cherry to her office. Oh, And Tuxedo Guy from earlier is super high now and brings his girlfriend into the janitor's closet for some fun. The janitor finds them and joins in, and the Gingerdead Man, who has been watching all this, shoots them to death with a nail gun for an ironic kill. Back in Trixie's office, Cherry is in big trouble for skating. Trixie calls her a trollop, whatever that is, and says the only thing she got from skating is a pelvis held together by screws and duct tape. The two women come to blows over this argument, and we get to hear the tragic story of why Trixie doesn't skate. The setup is that back in the 1940s, she was really good at something called barrel jumping. I would tell you more, but honestly, I'm just gonna let this whole scene play.
The boys loved me, especially FDR himself, who invited me to a special sunrise performance in Oahu, Hawaii. Everything was in place. Standing room only. The sun began to rise behind me as I took my position. The crowd went berserk. They were chanting my name over and over as I took a running start and launched myself into the air. It was about that time the first bomb hit. Barrels scattered as I hurled myself across the marble patio. And as I laid there looking up, all I could see were the Japanese Zeros flying overhead. I hit the ground like a bag of wet cement, shattering my pelvis, along with the dreams of a mighty nation. Had I not been performing that morning, December 7th, 1941, every last one of those sailors would have been manning their battle stations, and Pearl Harbor never would have happened.
I can't. How does somebody even come up with this?
Due to her inadvertently causing Pearl Harbor and shattering her pelvis, Trixie's never skated again. Cherry doesn't care and uses her mental powers to scare her aunt into submission. Here's where the Carrie copying starts to fall apart, because whilst I've never read Carrie, I'm pretty sure the reason Carrie was repressed or weird or whatever wasn't because her mother caused Pearl Harbor. Cherry gets back out on the rink and is announced as a nominee for Roller Boogie Queen, along with Evil Barbie. She also finds bloody footprints and is jump scared by the Gingerdead Man. He runs off and kills some poor guy at a urinal.
Come on, that's just impolite. Let the man finish at least.
That ugly woman from earlier is counting the votes, and Cherry's gonna win by a landslide. Good for her. This angers Evil Barbie, who cooks up a plan that, if you've seen Carrie, you know what it is. Of course, it doesn't make sense here, but when you're shamelessly copying one movie to put in another, you can't expect every part to match up. The Gingerdead Man takes time out of his busy schedule to replace the DJ's cocaine with what I'm assuming is rat poison, causing her eyes to literally bulge out of her head.
Neat.
He then begins DJing, and we get a title drop.
Saturday Night Cleaver!
Awesome. Wish they could have done this in Passion of the Crust, but I'll take what I can get. Cherry, meanwhile, is worried she won't win and wants to stop skating, but Trixie's had a change of heart and comes out to support her. She even gives an inspirational speech.
I was wrong, Cherry. You were right. I've been a hypocrite.
But
No buts. I saw you out there. Couldn't help but see a magical reflection of my former self. It was as if I was looking into a mirror. Well, that is before the shattered hip and the bankruptcy issues.
Ingrid has come to tell Trixie about the triple murder in the janitor's closet, and we find out that the janitor...
Tongue like a Clydesdale.
Trixie wants to keep it under wraps so the competition can finish, and goes off to host it. We get to see Cherry win, as well as a slow reveal of the bucket of pig's blood that was obviously coming.
Wait, what? They didn't just copy the ending from Carrie? They changed who the bucket fell on and put their own spin on it? That's almost impressive, movie. Major props to you for having an original idea.
Evil Barbie is mad about this, until the Gingerdead Man literally cuts her in half.
Wow, that is a far cry to what happened when a girl got a knife in her head in the first movie.
The Gingerdead Man now has a gun and is just straight up going to town. It's up to Cherry to save everyone since she's got those weird powers. She doesn't do that.
Don't act so tough! Get it! They're being shot!
Points for effort, I guess. I don't think that's how lightning works, though. Unrelated side note, according to IMDb, all of the extras that are currently getting electrocuted paid to be in this movie. If I had the chance, I would pay to be in a Full Moon feature. I feel like it would really take my stardom to the next level.
Well, with everyone dead, it looks like the end of the line for Cherry. But wait, what's happening?
Attention, Gingerdead Man. Holds on to your cookies.
Have you noticed how these movies all kind of end with a Deus Ex Machina, where something random happens to save these main characters? I wonder what it's gonna be in this one.
Tina Jaworski, time traveler, and her trusty sidekick, Pickle.
Oh, it's those kids from earlier. They've used time travel to fix everything the Gingerdead Man did and keep him captured.
That's pretty tame, actually. I was kind of expecting more.
Gingerdead Man, meet Adolf Hitler.
It's Holla's the ick!
Charles Manson.
Let's do something witchy!
Jeffrey Dahmer.
What's for supper?
And Lizzie Borden.
Can I ask what year it is?
Ah, see, now that's more of what I was expecting. I'm gonna be honest though, after seeing him get crucified at the end of the last film, nothing really surprises me anymore.
The film ends with the Gingerdead Man getting shoved into a cookie jar, everyone dancing, and then everyone getting sent back to their original time. Trixie goes back in time too, because I think she wants to try to stop Pearl Harbor.
And with that final dance party, we end not only the tale of Gingerdead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver, but the entirety of the Gingerdead Man trilogy as a whole. Or do we?
Dear God, oh my God, where to begin? I didn't think these movies could get any worse, yet somehow they got worse. If I never have to see another homicidal humanoid baked good ever again, it will be too soon. Whoever decided that these movies were a good idea, there is a special place in for you. I need therapy. After this, I need therapy, and Chris, you're paying.
Once again, I found myself really enjoying this movie. If you can ignore the fact that 80% of it is just copied from other films, you'll find it has a heart to it. A gross, diseased heart, but a heart nonetheless. This one is tied with Passion of the Crust for my favorite. I really can't pick one between the two of them. Basically, you should just watch these two and ignore the first movie. Pretend it never happened. If you'd like to watch this film for yourself, you can check it out on the Tubi streaming service. It's absolutely free. I should really be sponsored by Tubi based on how much I mention them, but oh well. Which Gingerdead Man movie was your favorite? Leave a comment down below, and if you were brave enough to watch any of these films based on my recommendation, also leave a comment down below, because I'm curious if you're deranged enough to listen to what I have to say. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Be sure to tune in next time, and we'll be covering Gingerdead Man 4. That's the way the cookie crumbles. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for watching, and remember, Weirdflix watches what no one else will.